Is that 11 your time? What time you got now?
Oh, yeah, because you have a different time than I do, right? Okay.
11 for me is market analysis.
Oh, okay. So how about 12? Oh, what time is good for you? After that or?
Right after. Yes.
Okay, so let's just put 11. Then I've got it right. I mean, for me, it would be 11 a.m., but for you, it'd be 12, right?
Okay. You're in there. I just thought I'd make
Audrey,
sure.
and I do want to know about the eye thing. That's what I'm interested in to
Okay.
talk to have a consultation with you on.
Okay. I'm still looking into getting rid of these glasses. Like, I mean, I can see you guys, but you're a little bit fuzzy. If I
Oh,
squint
really?
better.
Oh, okay.
So they're not very strong. And summer actually has a remedy for getting rid of glasses. So
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
going to
that's
be
right.
talking to her to get rid of these glasses
Yes.
things
Yeah.
because I'm constantly having to put them
Yeah, I'm
on,
just
put them on.
yeah. No, it's such a pain, and I've just started having to use glasses, so
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. All
All
right.
right.
we'll
Let's
see how
do
that
this.
goes with you. Oh, market analysis. All right.
Market analysis. Here we are. So, Bitcoin, big news for the last 24 hours is Bitcoin created a brand new high. We had the previous high here. This was 109,396.43. Things are now up with a brand new high sitting at, what is this here? Let's just click that button. It is 111,877. So with the all-time high being pushed up right now, that is a good indication that we are re-entering a bull run. Whenever Bitcoin makes new highs, we see the other coins follow suit. Now, so right now we can see, if we zoom in a little bit here, we can see that there's been a little bit of a pullback off of that all-time high, just a little bit, up until this, what is this? Yeah, this morning at 2 a.m. And since that time, it's been climbing back up again. I do expect by the end of the day that we'll see another new high created. So, what does that mean? Well, let's go look at Ethereum. Look at how it's been also climbing over the last little while. If we actually zoom out, this jump here that has resulted in higher highs, this jump coincided exactly at the same time as this jump here. They're just not zoomed in at the same level. But this last, week has correlated to this movement here. And if we, with Bitcoin, we can see that it was this movement here that coincided with the Ethereum jump here. So whenever that happens at the same time, doesn't happen very often, but when it happens at the same time, it's because the altcoins are getting an injection. They're getting revenue. Because Ethereum is a major cornerstone for a lot of these coins, for a lot of the layer 2. So this rise here has correlated. In XRP, we saw the rise as well. ADA, we saw that rise. And it has yet to come back up to the height of that rise, but I don't think it's going to have a problem. I've been analyzing this now consistently for a year and a half now, every day. And this price zone here, around that 72-cent mark, that has provided major resistance in the past, and it's also provided major support. So as a result, the fact that we went so high above that and came back down to bounce off of that, that is a clear indication, very highly likely to continue this impulse. We can see there's been 1, 2, and 3 impulses. You can bet on 5. That's the most common pattern. So probably going to be one more, and most likely probability would say a third, or 2 more. So the next one is likely to come up and find resistance around this 97-cent mark. 97 cents US is my target right now to sell. If I bring this back, open up. Here's my USDT and ADA. As you can see, I've got, oh, they don't show it. Oh, there it is. I've got the limit set there. Let's go to the 8-hour chart so it's easier to see. So my next target is right here at 96 cents. That's where I will be selling half of the ADA that I'm holding in this particular account. And when that hits and it retraces, it will likely come back to rest around this 85-cent mark. So I will sell my ADA at 96 cents and then immediately I will create a pending order so that if the price comes back down to test this, I'll be buying half of what I sold back again, possibly even all of it, depending on how I feel. If I feel like it'll come down further, then I'll have the other half ready to buy it there, so I'm dollar cost averaging. But I do know that this is going to be the next target right here, that the most likely, this is a 60% chance of it reaching here. So I've taken the necessary risks where even if I lose 50% of the time, I'm still profiting. I think it's 1.6 to 1. So I'm statistically going to make 60% off of my investment by following this strategy. All right, that's ADA. Let's move on. I'm noticing my video is pretty choppy. Is it choppy for you guys too? Where it's not very smooth?
What does that mean, choppy? Like in the picture itself?
Well, it's like there's not a smooth animation of my hand.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's pretty choppy.
It's pretty choppy. Okay, well, that's interesting.
To me, I don't see that, but that may be my eyes. It looks like it's constant.
Okay, well, who knows? I'm just looking at the source here. It is showing that there is some lag. That's okay. My audio is still coming through nicely, though, eh?
Yes, audio's good.
Okay, great stuff. All right, so Doge. Doge experienced the growth at the same time that Ethereum did it. It only makes sense. Right now, it's been climbing back up again. It kind of zigzagged its way back down to this support here. You can see where it provided a little bit of resistance on the way up. So that there is now the support that it is using to climb again. Where is it headed? It's probably going to end up getting a little bit of resistance at this level here, which is at 28 cents.
And that's Elon Musk, right? Elon Musk is the Doge. I always.
Yeah, you can basically say that.
All right.
It was that there is a talk about predictive programming and NLP. And just how artful that is staggering. We can talk about this for a second. Doge, well, we talked a little bit about it last night, how all of these cryptocurrencies are really just meme coins. When it boils right down to it, they're all just a bunch of meme coins, a bunch of communities coming together under a common value, working towards a common goal. That's all it is. All of them are that. Well, Doge, it was the first coin where there was no backing to the asset. Proof of work was not even a part of the picture. It was just, hey, here's a coin we created on chain, and if you buy some, it'll hold its value as long as someone else is willing to buy it at the same value. And it was a community right out of the gate because it was an innovation. It was like, hey, we can lock wealth with blockchain. Let's just lock a blockchain and let the people bring the wealth. So it was like revolutionary idea. Well, Doge is, I don't even remember. It's something to do with a Japanese dog character. It's a character in a Japanese production of a dog. And Doge is apparently the name of that dog. That's what the coin is. Okay? It's not a company. It's not working towards something. It's just for fun. Hey, look what we can do. Look at our creative expression with these machines, these computers, and what we're able to accomplish. Look at how funny this is getting. And then nothing really happens to it. I mean, we go through the altcoin season, and it's a part of the ride because it was the first meme coin. That's why it just did what it did. Well, along comes Elon Musk, and just randomly, out of nowhere in 2021, says that he's going to buy Doge. And he thinks it's going to go up. Well, Elon Musk had like close to 1 million followers on Twitter at the time. So when he said that, sure enough, within 6 hours, it went up. And it went up something ridiculous. It was, oh, let's go look. I got the data right here. Let's go look to see what that did. Right here. There's the big jump. So Elon goes ahead, says I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy some. And then it proceeds over the next 100 days to go up 77 times in value. 77 times in value. Well, what people don't realize, and this is something that was discovered within 5 minutes of his announcement, was that blockchain is, it's blockchain, it's transparent. So they deduced which wallet was Elon's. And they found out that he bought before he tweeted. That was Doge. Okay, nothing happens again. Then nothing happens again for how many years? 2, 3 years? Yeah, 3 years. And then Trump comes in for season 3 of the Great Reset. And he's running for presidency and says that there's going to have to be a Department of Government Efficiency. He made it that like he was already president, just declared this thing into existence. And Elon, and keep in mind that Donald Trump has his own platform. He tweets, but that's not his platform. He has Truth Social. Truth Social is his platform that he bought so that he could have his own followers on his own platform. So Trump goes out there and makes this announcement about the Department of Government Efficiency. And then all of a sudden, Elon, like literally the day or two later, quotes Donald Trump and then puts underneath DOGE. Which, of course, he made Doge famous for what happened. He made it famous. So the predictive programming and the NLP was in full effect throughout this entire Great Reset up to this point. You can bet your boots to the rest of it is just as orchestrated. And when you have the knowledge of how marketing works, you look at everything that happens in the world like it's an open book. Nothing surprises you. I knew that Doge was going to be the thing because Elon bought it. I didn't know how it was going to play out. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I just knew because of how it came about that Doge was going to be the first meme coin to back a government project. Now that's failed. That's not gone through. But I would say that from Trump's and Elon's perspective, it was a massive success. Why? Because then Trump launches his own meme coin 2 days before his inauguration and makes $80 billion in a day. And then he launched Melania, and that one did 40. This is all just a big game, folks. We are not winning it, all right? We're just riding the wave of it right now. And I'm showing people how to win it. Because it all boils down to individual responsibility. That's what it boils down to. That's how we win this. That's what sovereignty is. It's agency. It's agency to your integrity of who you are. And I believe that in the same way that money in the past, like we hear about how, oh well, money's just energy, and so if you attract it into to attract it into your life, you just need your energy to match the energy of the money, and then it'll come into your life. But people don't even know what money is. They don't even know what it is. You know what money is? The truth about money is not something that is backed by gold, that is, hoarded by a nation state and then backed, and then that's used to issue credit. No, that is not what money is. People say, well, God's money is gold and silver. No, it's not. How many times did Jesus have to say that the kingdom was in you? You see, Audrey Lynn, just a couple markets ago, now this is a humble market in a small town, rural town of Alberta, Canada. Like, it's remote out here, okay? Lots of places there's no cell phone service, and that makes a lot of people panic about how far out we are. Audrey Lynn has needle tea that she wild harvests from the forests. She dries them. She puts them into little bags, zips them up. And of course, they're paper, because we can't have plastic touching that stuff. It's a health product. People can take those little bags, buy them for $7, and they can go home and they can make about 15 cups of tea. Because each tablespoon will make 1 cup, but you can steep that tablespoon of needles twice. And I got 2 cups per tablespoon of needles. It's a lot of value for $7. She wanted some pierogies. She doesn't have a whole lot of money. That's why she's out there harvesting the medicine from the forest, because she doesn't have a whole lot of money. But that is a valuable asset. So what she does is that she walks across the aisle to where the lady has pierogies and says, I would like to have some pierogies of yours. I have some needles. Would you like to trade some needles for pierogies? Guess what the lady with the pierogies said? I've always wanted to try that. And so they exchanged pierogies and needles. That is what backs money. That is what we call, and we use the word money. Here's another word for people to comprehend the significance of that exchange. Because if you look at the etymology of the word, it is undeniable that consensual trade between those two people was a token. They had energy tokens. Someone spent their energy making pierogies, and another one spent their energy in the mountains harvesting needles and drying them and preparing them for tea. That energy exchange was tokenized by their trade. They both came to an agreement on what their energy was worth, and they conducted an exchange. That is money. It's the only thing that money is or could ever be. So people are going around freaking out about which cryptocurrency is best. And my answer is, well, I don't know which one is best, because it really depends on what your goal is. If your goal is to rape and pillage the economy and be like a mindless brute stomping on the skulls of others in order to gain your wealth, then hell's yes, I can show you which coin that will help you with that. However, if you do want to know which coin is going to be able to help the next generation of merchant sufficiently observe and practice their sovereignty over their property, as is their unalienable right, there's a coin for that too. And I believe that latter coin is something that can be used as money, because it's something that two people can agree to barter with.
And which one is that, Paul?
Cardano.
I love it. It's that chills through me. I love it. Which coin is that that promotes the next generation? See, I didn't really get next gen merchants. I got it to a fuller level just when you said that. It's like planting the palm tree, and you know the fruit's not going to grow for 100 years or whatever. You know that story is the date palm. So, I mean, at this age especially, I'm interested in that kind of thing of what can my gift be? You know, that just that touches my heart really deeply. What can my gift be? Kind of like your legacy or whatever. And of course,
Right.
we're always doing that, aren't we? We're always creating a legacy of who we are.
Absolutely. I truly believe that we are, whether we know it or not, living out our purpose.
So which coin is that promotes that, just what you said, the integrity of the sovereignty being, oh gosh, I don't know the string of words, but whatever they produced was really a beautiful thing inside of me.
You can tokenize, anyone can tokenize a trade and maintain their unalienable property rights over the equity of that trade with ADA.
With ADA. See, now I understand what you're saying. So I can understand the words, but as far as saying them in the order that you're saying them, to create that, it's like poetry, the right word in the right place that, you know, carries forth to the next word. And that's a really, to me, important thing that you just said. Anyway.
Language is so important. It is vitally important. We don't know these things because we don't practice the language. See, that's what I want to convey to people. This next generation of mercantile is going to be predicated on the language that we use in trade.
It carries with it. I just want you to know, it's like poetry. Poetry, when you use just the right word in the right place, something else is created that's greater than the word itself. They join together, and there's an emergence of each word and the spirit of each word, the etymology of each word, and then they string together to touch, to me, the human heart in a certain way, our electromagnetic field, or however that's generated, and it touches something deep inside when those words are said, and it activates it, and it's like, oh, I've been longing to hear that. You know, a longing is there for that kind of life. I don't know what happened to Audrey. Sorry.
That's okay.
Maybe I'm taking over here. I don't mean to, but
if she wants to come back, she can. Just turn your camera back on if you want. Be brought back on.
Yeah, she knows how to do it. But she's probably heard all this before. But
I'm here, just listening.
Yeah,
just listening, which is like.
These are the conversations that Audrey and I have had for probably about a good part of a year now, I think. Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it builds, and I'm attracted to it. I want to come to these calls because of that. It's touching something deep inside that I know is true, and I don't know. It needs to be. It's time. It's time for it to bloom inside of me, and it is about sovereignty. It is about holding space. I think Elaine talks about this. The elders holding space for the vision of this beautiful new world. You know, and
I also see the elders being like a guide almost. Like it's, you guys are going to go way further. You're going to live longer. You're going to do all kinds of great things that far exceed anything that I saw within my entire life. But here, let me provide some guidance so that your trajectory doesn't end up burning you to death in the sun.
Yeah, the Icarus, right? The Icarus phenomenon. Yeah, I get it. I really feel like a one that's an encouragement and an appreciation of
yes,
that helps it to grow. And it's like feedback. It's a feedback loop that says, yes, that's the way to go. Yes, that's it. That feels alive in me. Uh, anyway.
Beautiful. Well, there went the charts, eh?
I
still
tell you
want.
something. I got a call. I have an exchange, a river exchange. All they do is Bitcoin. I got a
Yep.
call from them this morning. And she said, is there any way I can help you? You know, do you have any questions? You know?
Wow.
And she said, Bitcoin is way up. And she said, we're going to be really busy. You know, because it was at 111, she said, you know.
Yep.
So
Yep.
my big question is like, because Paul, we're going to do that transaction later today, but it's like, what are the tax consequences? Ooh, God, that's stuck in my throat.
Oof.
Because you don't have any.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to be doing that. You're not supposed to say that word, and your throat chakra is choking you out.
It's like going,
taxes.
yeah, you guys are well set up.
I just saw today a video where there is no tax, no documentation in the American, because it was American, in the American anywhere, Constitution anywhere, that mandates a citizen to pay taxes.
And we've known that forever, but here we are.
But who's
in the
making
actual
you do
practice of whatever that is? Well, yes, and this is something where I'm not willing to go to jail at this point, or to be prosecuted, or to go to court. I'm not in the position to do that.
But
and to test it, no, you're right. It's like you guys have a constitution, but it's not enacted. And why isn't it enacted? Because the majority of people don't even know about it, right? The Canadian, the one, you know, what was that? The Illusion of Canada, the video.
Oh,
I loved that. I thought that was amazing. And people don't even know they have rights. And but I'm not going to stand alone. You know, I'm not ready to do. I'm not strong enough to do that. Right at this point. I could not. My body is saying I'm 82. You know, almost. I say that, and I'm going to be 82 in October, but it's like I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to get a notice saying you have to appear in court. My nervous system has hardly any myelin sheath around it, so that I can't absorb whatever that is. So I want to stay at least as long as I know it. I'm even like saying no to a cop. How do I do that? I'm like at the beginning stages of all that, Audrey.
Yeah.
So,
but so it's writing down. It's just writing down the words,
exactly,
and having them available, so that if an officer does come to you, you can say the words. That's what I had. I didn't the first time. I had it in my day timer that I have with me at all times, and all I did was read it. That's really all I did, was read the words to him. So it wasn't.
Well, this is how open my receptor is like I'm looking at YouTubes of a lawyer telling us what to say, what rights we have when a cop stops you. So now, that's kind of where my receptor is able to see. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm getting familiar with that being kind of normal. Do you know what I mean? Or that being a possibility probably is more than true. So, and I can see the direction I'm moving. I mean, it's not like I want to, I set an intention to do this without any, it's like it's a movement occurring within me to be here on this call, to learn about sovereignty, to talk to my kids about sovereignty. So, and to see that as more of a real possibility in my life and manifest, just like you guys have done. See, the easiest way would be for me to move to Canada and live near you guys. But of course, that's not going to happen. But
I believe that the easiest way for you to accomplish it is by starting a trust.
Oh, okay. So
Mhm.
maybe we can talk about that. We can start.
Mhm.
We can do baby steps. Poco a poco, as the
Absolutely.
Spanish say.
And that's exactly what this is. This is baby steps. I've got a client. He's an oil field equipment operator. He provides all kinds of stuff, everything from heavy equipment to blowback tanks, you name it. So he's doing the same thing. He's like, how do I carve my business out of Canada? And so I said, well, do you ever get anything that just goes missing every once in a while? He's like, oh yeah, this specific, I can't remember what it was. And I said, well, another one could just go missing again. You could just make it go missing. There's actually no harm, loss, or damage in that. It went missing. So you don't have a claim against anybody, nothing. It just went missing. Guess where it went? Into your trust. And now your trust has a business asset with which you can conduct exchange. And that exchange is done in a corporate fiction, no different than the corporate fiction that you have in Canada. But this corporate fiction is now inside your trust, meaning it's in your control. And now that little thing there starts operating. Yeah, that operates now as a division.
All but the words sinking in, but that's okay.
Yeah.
One time you say it now, and then again and again.
And what I really need to do is I need to create some visuals. I recognize the importance of creating some visuals, PDFs with diagrams of the money flow and the relationship between all these different identifiers.
This is, we teach what we need to learn, and like you're saying, you're learning to discriminate, and it's like being able to discriminate the AI. It takes attention and energy. Talk about energy exchange. Anyway, I get it, and maybe today we can look at like this. Maybe as the first baby step.
Yes, totally.
I can feel the resistance of not wanting change.
Oh, yeah, of course. Change.
Oh, and look at Paul.
No.
Speaking of change, that changed.
Mm-hmm.
Where is my mouse anyways? Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah.
It's just do one little thing, right?
What's that?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Right? Yeah. The resistance, right? Is like, oh, do I do that? So maybe it was take $100 and put it somewhere where you were resistant to put something. Right?
Okay.
And then see where that 100 goes and how it works. And
okay, I don't want to put it in that wallet where you don't know where.
No. But I'm just saying.
I'm teasing, Audrey.
Well, okay, I did that all for you. So
thank you so much.
Yeah, that tuition was paid on your behalf.
Yeah. Yeah, I did a lot of mistakes just so Paul could help others not make them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that the beginning of everything?
Yeah.
Let's.
Somebody has to do mine here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Because I know that, like, I mean, there is people out there that are going to be resistant to it, but so we have to go through it, whatever it is. Somebody has to start it and go through it. Paul did it at first, right? I come out.
We have to go through. I don't know that. I always think of Jesus. It's like, oh no, that path doesn't look very good to me. It doesn't end well.
That guy ended up suffering and dying on a cross.
Yeah, wait a minute. Maybe I don't want to go there. Anyway.
Killed by his local politicians.
And his friends.
Yeah. Yeah, the worst is his friends. That's a hard one to take, right?
Yeah.
That one is.
Absolutely.
That one is. And yet, here we are learning how to walk on water. Because that's what currency is. You see, when they issue currency, what they're doing. This comes back to the maritime law.
Yeah.
They have no authority over man on land. They have zero authority. They had to create the maritime law so that the government could take responsibility for goods that were being passed across the waters. And so they had to name it a currency so that you were on top of the water so that you could be in their jurisdiction. So we're walking around using their currency, wondering why we don't have a solid footing. It's because you need a citizenship. And then now you can float on the water. It's all in language. It's all in
Yes,
language.
because that's how we form perception, isn't it?
I have a question about the word jurisdiction. So when it was said to the officer, do you have jurisdiction over me, over this woman? If they had jurisdiction over me, they'd actually have to look after me, correct?
If they have jurisdiction, yes, they have to look after you in accordance to the law. However, the word jurisdiction is what is used to address authority. So if there is jurisdiction, then there must be an authority. And authority is something that cannot be exercised over individual consent. That's against the law. If there is an exercise of authority over consent, it's defined as an assault. We think of assault as something physical. No, it's not. In fact, that's called battery. Assault, specifically, is the exercise of authority over consent. So therefore, jurisdiction is only present with consent, not authority. So when you were asking the police officer, do you have jurisdiction? So there's a root of it in law for sure. However, it's not. It's lawful authority is what it is. You can lawfully dictate in that noun, like that's a noun, jurisdiction. It's the ability to lawfully dictate. But you cannot lawfully dictate someone if you don't have authority, and you can't have authority without consent. If there's authority exercised over consent, that's an assault. So jurisdiction is establishing where is the authority, usually a boundary.
So that's why a police officer will never say they have jurisdiction over.
Correct, because they have no authority over a body. Zero. They only have authority over corporate fiction. They are police, meaning they only administer policy. That's it. So policy only applies to corporations because it's just legal fiction. That's why it's called a policy. It's not law. It's just policy. That's why these police officers are not law enforcement officers. They're policy enforcement officers. So, yeah, they have no jurisdiction over the body. Why? Because that requires your consent. And it also requires a contract.
So when he said, so I asked him if he had jurisdiction over this woman, and he said no, but I have jurisdiction over the road.
That's what I was thinking.
That's his belief, yes.
But he doesn't.
Correct.
Because he doesn't have jurisdiction over any land. Authority over any land. Is that right?
What it is, he has jurisdiction over the road, but there is a ... He has jurisdiction over the road when the matter concerns commerce conducted in Canada. Because he's a policy officer.
Is that
in
the
Canada,
same in the States?
No, in the States it's different because they actually have a court of law in the States. Canada doesn't. And so as a result, they actually do have law enforcement officers. They're called sheriffs. That then those so they have a different solution there. The police officers that drive around, yeah, they are just policy officers as well. Usually traffic, to do with traffic, or civic law, or we're dealing with someone is robbing so and so's store, right? That's all civil. And so civil code is not law. That's created by the customs of the land. And that's done through representation. So they actually have a better setup in the States, only because they actually did have a republic at some point, and that does have lawful authority over the corporate fiction known as the United States of America.
All right. Well, I have to run. I do have another meeting.
Okay.
Great to know.
What time is it?
12.
Is it 11 o'clock?
It is now getting to be 12 o'clock Mountain Time. So,
Oh, okay. So I do have to go out and water.
Hello.
So Audrey,
Okay.
I'll see you on Monday,
You bet.
and I look forward to it. Thank you. And we're going to meet on WhatsApp,
We can, yeah.
or we could meet. How else could we meet? I have a Jitsi.
you have
Just-
Zoom, Audrey, don't you?
I have a Zoom.
Oh, you have a Zoom? You want to Zoom me?
Yeah, I'll just how can you have my number, right?
I have your phone number. You can send me
you have
an
WhatsApp?
email with a link in it. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So-
email.
How do I get your email?
M-O Masters.
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
I'm
you're
also
send
going to
it me?
email you because we're going to try to get together with Elaine
Oh.
as well.
Who are you talking to, Audrey or me?
Was it? Wait, I have to think about that. Oh, no. I'm thinking of someone
Yeah,
else.
somebody
Sorry,
else.
Maureen.
I
Yeah.
really
ML
like Masters at iCloud.com. That's the easiest one.
Okay. Okay, I will email you a link.
You know, I know on Zoom there's breakout rooms.
Mhm.
And I'm just thinking, there's something that I'd really like to talk to Elaine about. I'm sorry, I do not. But even you and I could do that occasionally, just go to a breakout room and discuss what we need to and then come back to the meeting. Just because it's an efficient use of time or whatever. But I was thinking, maybe I just would like your feedback if you just have a minute. Elaine, remember Paul on the last call, I was saying that I talk too much?
Mm-hmm.
And Elaine, and I was saying, I was looking at Elaine and how difficult it was for me to add to what she was saying, even though I thought it was brilliant what she was saying. And I didn't let her know how brilliant I thought she was. And I think I want to correct that.
Okay.
But maybe was I in any way denigrating to her? I didn't mean to be, but did you sense any kind of
No, I
critique
didn't.
of her in a negative way? Okay,
I did
good.
not. No, I didn't at all. I didn't feel that. But
Okay.
see, Audrey. I didn't feel that at all.
Okay.
I think, well, again, the advantage of working in communities that are more, or at the very least, it may not be heart-centered, but at least they have the intention to be. I believe that that was taken in the love that it was delivered. I felt.
Still, sometimes it can wound in a way. And she may
Yeah.
have the same kind of weak spot that I do, where, oh, did I talk too much? Am I bad? Am I a bad girl? Whatever that, going back to some childhood kind of thing of interrupting somebody important and, just having that. So I just wanted to check in on that. And I think she is brilliant. She is brilliant. She has these things bubble up inside of her like you do.
She's very much like me in that regard. In fact, when we have our consultations, I do have to be like, I gotta talk.
See, that's and that's done in a loving way. And my family, we did that too. It's like, okay, it's my turn to talk.
Yeah.
You've talked enough. I want to say something here. Anyway, okay, good. I thank you. And I do have to get to water before it gets too hot. Thanks so much.
Awesome.
I always enjoy these.
I'll see you. Yeah, we're seeing each other later today.
And and what time do
Is
you
it
have
today?
there? Can you see it? Is it 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock your time, 1 o'clock mine?
Let me just double check here. Engine welcoming. Oh, at 2 o'clock my time. That's 1 o'clock your time.
Perfect.
Does that
Okay.
still work?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we're good. All right.
Okay, awesome.
Bye.
See ya.